Shen Wulong wants to train Koga, Lu Han is the big villain of Kengan potentially, Oma and Shen have an exchange, and much more to go over in today's Kengan video. Recently in the Kengan Omega manga, we've been just chilling alongside Joji, Shen, Yamashita and a few others, learning more about the Kengan universe from Shen's perspective. This includes the goal of the worm, the Wu clan, particularly relating to how they view Shen, and of course what Shen thinks about with regard to everything that's going on. When he was questioned about why he needs Oma and Ruki, he says the following: "We need them because there are two of them." Unfortunately, this line isn't expanded on, but it's still pretty interesting, and the secret that Oma isn't technically him as he claimed, I've mentioned this in pretty much every video the last like 5 or so months, is still being hidden, not being revealed by Shen, which is definitely very important. And considering everything we got revealed in this chapter, it's most likely the case that Oma is a clone of the previous version of the connector. That's what makes the most sense to me at this point. When it comes to Lu Han, the most interesting thing we got here is Shen knows Lu Han wants to kill him, wants to betray him, and Lu Han's overall goal, Shen's memories, to gain that absolute power. Wulong is aware of all of this, which is very interesting and makes me believe even more than before that Lu Han definitely won't succeed in his plan, and even with the help of the Tiger Nico, I don't think it will go too well for him, and the Tiger Nico may be the victor in that situation, with Lu Han most likely being taken out at some point. However, Shen says something about Lu Han that is very interesting and begs the question of why Wulong doesn't just kill him. He says in response to Oma and Ruki confirming that he's probably evil, that most people would treat Shen like a monster, but he considers Lu Han the real monster, even if he's no match for him, once again confirming that Wulong is way above Lu Han. Which is even expanded on by Shen saying, even if Lu Han had his memories in some way, he wouldn't get the same buff that current Wulong has. He would get, as claimed here, incredibly close, but the memories isn't really everything when it comes to the strength. There's more to it that Lu Han just can't get no matter what, meaning without a doubt, even if Lu Han is successful, he won't be surpassing this current Shen's power, unless he does something completely different Wulong wasn't expecting by any means. With all this considered, the likelihood of Lu Han succeeding, gaining Wulong's memories, is something that's probably not going to happen, and I wouldn't consider it likely, but a possibility to keep in mind for the future of the story. We also got more insight to the understanding of principles, which is probably expanded on by the final exchanges we got to see in this chapter. Shen's absolute knowledge of martial art allows him to pretty much have perfect technique. With this perfect technique, he's able to pretty much dominate anyone no matter what. And when he was about to reveal the whole purpose of all these characters being here, alongside Joji wanting to drink Wulong, he questioned Omaruki whether they want to know how to defeat him, and neither of them want to know. They want to work it out their own way, which is as expected, the two clones of connectors. It's natural for them not to want just to outright know. But Wulong saying, "Okay, got it, then I'll coach Koga like I was gonna do all along," is a little wacky. Not gonna lie, Koga is just being given trainers throughout all of Kengan Omega over the last 2 years, whether it be Lolong, Kano, Oma's passing the Nuko style down to him, Joji and even more. But now the literal god of the universe wants to train Koga as well. I know a lot of people were quite concerned in regards to the writing of Koga learning the Nico style, but potentially this is even worse on a writing level, I'm not gonna lie. With us getting a mini training sequence for Shen to pretty much gauge where Koga and Oma are at currently. Koga uses his full power Iron Breaker, which does absolutely nothing to Shen. He was able to completely diverse all impact from the blow, while Oma's version of the Iron Breaker was able to send Shen Wulong's arm flying back and him to actually claim excellent, but still all the damage was completely dispersed by Shen's principles most likely. However, then we have something very interesting. Shen completely corrects Oma's form to allow him to unleash a perfect version of the Ironbreaker in my opinion, which created this giant shockwave, something Oma claimed himself he was never able to do before. And then this mad lad on Twitter actually reminded me of what Oma did early in Kengan Ashura, with Oma doing a similar thing based on memory back in Ashura. If you don't know, a big point of the early days of Kengan Ashura was Oma actually lost his memories, regained them in the final moments during his fight against Kure Ryan, revealing the true extent of his Nico style mastery and supposedly unleashing his full power, which was slowly revealed as we got the later rounds and the conclusion of Kengan Ashura. Regardless of all the injuries, Oma got stronger due to his memories returning, and even when he initially pulled out the advance, he entered a state where he was pretty much borrowing some type of power, which may actually not be directly or solely related to the power of the advance, something more so connected to Oma being a clone and having some access to the memories of the previous versions of himself as Wulong, who Oma is a clone of, the same person Wulong may also be a clone of. Which once again is expanded on by us not seeing Oma in his very young years. He just appeared in the inside at some point being a menace, with that being something that will probably be expanded on in the future of the story or revealed in the future of the story, the truth about Oma's full flashback. But in regards to Shen claiming that Luhan, even with the memories, won't be on current Shen's level, that definitely has something to do with the new cloning method implemented to create the current Wulong, not just the passing down of memories, the enhancements to the DNA, everything like that, and potentially even the cybernetic brain research that was talked about at the start of Kengan Omega, which weirdly enough hasn't really been brought up in the series recent at all, but definitely has something to do with why current Wulong is so strong and the pretty wild stuff he's capable of doing. So the worm view Wulong as a god, likewise with the Wu, with the other parties being for their own goals, that being Luhan and the Tiger Nico. Gilbert considers him a god, so he's not going to betray him in any way. Yan was appointed as the head of the worm by Wulong, which does beg the question if he's lying in a lot of these situations about him not directly telling them to do anything or not having a specific role in controlling the worm on a broader level. It seems like he does to a degree, which we kind of saw of him stopping the fight between Yan and Gilbert Wu, but that just could be Gilbert respecting Shen and Shen realizing he doesn't respect Yan, therefore he needs to really step in to stop his friends per se fighting one another, which he also mentioned. He has friends part of the Wu and Worm, but not real subordinates or people he tells what to do, which may be a lie, which may not. One thing for sure is Shen actually having a role in training the per se good guys as well is pretty interesting, and is more so a role he should have moving forward, as if he's solely on the Worm or bad guy side, the Kengan Association really has no chance. If he begins doing his own thing more and more, doing some stuff for the Kengan Association, doing some stuff for his friend Yan, part of the Worm, Gilbert, etc., that will be a little interesting. Yes, still a little wacky, but I'm intrigued enough to, be hyped for all this. But that's everything for today's video. Shout out to the members. That's it, guys. Peace.